gave alternative facts to that.
I called the fake news the enemy of the people, and they are. They are the enemy of the people. Fake news. Fake news, CNN. You are fake news. Fake news. Fake news. Fake news. It's fake news. Fake news. Fake news. Fake news. Fake news. Fake news. Fake news.
Fake news media is not my enemy. It is the enemy of the American people.
It's true, 100%.
There was a time when someone who talked like that, who didn't support the statements that he or she was making, who would attack people personally with cameras rolling, would not be given access to the airwaves. There were regulations against it. Anyone who did it would lose their license for putting him on the air. So now you have the internet. It starts to become a substitute form of information and communication in the 1990s. The current regulation of the internet as to content is defined in a Supreme Court decision that took place in 1997, and it basically defined it as print. The result, no regulation.
With the internet defined as print, it is protected by our First Amendment right, freedom of speech and press. This Supreme Court decision allowed our rights to enter the world of cyberspace and gave a platform to not only hate speech, but lies and conspiracy theories.
So there's a positive in what this digital era can allow you to do, but at the same time there could be someone who's a white power advocate and he's going to talk about white supremacy. It's very easy for him or her to reach a large number of people.
Unlike print, the internet has introduced a space available to all. This level of access has made it harder to distinguish between reputable sources and fringe internet sites.
A site like Infowars has really glossy design. It looks real, it looks professional, but it's rarely true, right? It's usually fake things like Pizzagate, which is not true, but they reported on it like it was true, and it gained traction as being truth.
I love how the fake news is saying we're fake news, and they're specifically crapping themselves over Pizzagate, and their answer is to say it's all fake.
This isn't that big of a deal, right? Lies and false news stories have always existed. But here's when it becomes a bigger issue. Lies spread 6 times faster on social media than true stories do. And by age 18, 88% of young adults regularly get news from social media.
Students here, anywhere in the United States, they don't go through the front door of a publication. They don't pick up, obviously, a piece of paper and read a newspaper, but they also don't go to homepage, so they don't go to a reputable news source and then start reading. They get news that's been aggregated.
I get my news from Twitter mostly.
Some apps are like Instagram, Snapchat, and then a little bit of Twitter.
On Snapchat, there's Instagram posts on WorldStar.
I would say that I see things on Instagram and Snapchat.
I don't think adults as much are seeing it through Instagram and Snapchat the way we're receiving our news.
You still might not think of this as that big of a problem, but the age of internet news is having a trickle-down effect on younger generations. 82% of middle schoolers couldn't distinguish between an ad labeled sponsored content and a real news story on a website. We aren't teaching kids how to determine the reliability of the information they encounter.
No, I don't think my school is teaching us enough to be prepared to identify fake and real news.
I don't think that most students get education on media literacy.
My mother is like, I'll tell her information and then she'll tell me that it's fake pretty much, but yeah, no, I don't think my school's really teaching us the difference.
We can't control the spread of misinformation, but we can control how we prepare our students to navigate the digital world. We need to combat this with education.
Definitely we need more media literacy these days than we've ever needed it before.
It's definitely the role of schools as well as kind of parents and families to talk to kids as they're coming up in the age of internet as to just because you see something online doesn't mean it's true.
If we don't educate our students, the result will be a generation utterly unprepared to participate in our democratic society.
The main consequence I would see for a lack of media literacy education is going the way that like my parents' generation and everybody else goes back, where you just regurgitate, right? You can't think critically, you can't figure out what is truth and what is lie.
The biggest problem we'll face if we don't teach kids about this issue is that the country will become more divided. Ultimately, what we want in a democracy is for people to have a voice and have that voice count. The more divided we are and the more confused we are, the less that's true.
And it appears to be promoting an epidemic around the world of dictators and repression.
The goal is to get you just to curl up and say, I can't take this anymore. I don't know what to believe and I don't want to believe in anything and I'm just going to tune out.
There's a line from 1984, the last thing the government will do is to make you disbelieve what you're seeing with your own eyes. And I think that's really scary and really possible. And what I would worry is that with the right type of propaganda and the right type of fake news, that even if you're presented with reality, you're not going to believe it.